Ah, Hello, this is wmpyr here to talk to you guys about this knife right here, the LLC knife. And yeah, look, it's easy to sit back and just criticize at knives, but what I want to do here today is we're going to look at this knife and we are going to learn from this thing. So whether you have this knife or not, we're going to learn stuff from it, and then you can apply it to your knowledge base and for your self-defense system that you should be kind of like creating a self-defense method for yourself. Okay, so first things first, this thing, like with a bunch of other folding knives, it has a pocket clip, right? And you also notice that this pocket clip is going to have this much sticking out because it's going to go into your pocket all the way up to here, and then so all this will be left out, right? Why is that? And the answer is pretty simple. It's for easy access. Okay, so the fact that it's on your pocket, easy access. And the fact that this much sticking out, you have a whole lot of area to grab onto to pull the thing out. Easy access, right? And you could have the best self-defense tool in the world, but if it's in the bottom of your backpack, underneath a bunch of books, then you're never going to get to it. So then it doesn't matter how good it is, right? So once again, the importance here is easy access. Now the second thing is this pocket clip, until you've actually felt it, it's a little different from a lot of other pocket clips on folding knives. This one, it's very tight. It feels like a more like a money clip. All right, so really pinches. And for like some knife connoisseurs and stuff, people that take this stuff to their work and show their buddies and stuff like that, access is a little hard in that case because it really pinches onto your pants pocket. And then if you're wearing khakis and stuff, it might rip it, especially after a couple of times. It could start to wear it thin already, because it's so tight. And you have to understand that there's a reason for that. Why is this so freaking tight? And the reason is so you don't drop it. It's really that simple. It provides security, okay? It is secure on your pocket. Why is that important? Well, in a self-defense situation, let's say the bad guy comes up to you, right? And they start getting aggressive and hostile. And really at that point, you don't need to sit there and argue with the person because this person may not be in their right mind, whether it's drugs or they're angry about some reason or who knows what, right? So at any given point, when you see the opportunity, you should just run and leave, get out of there. Okay, and if you are going to be running, well, that is that is a bunch of force that you're putting in because you're not just going to be jogging. I mean, you're really going to be sprinting. You're running out of there. You don't want your tool to fall out, and you also don't want your tool to get in the way of your running. So having this on your pocket is probably a good location, and like compared to some other places, like I've seen some other carries like on the waistband and stuff, and like when I'm running or maybe I have to climb a fence or jump over things, it can get in the way, and I don't want to worry about I'm going to drop my tool, and I don't want to constantly worry about it's poking into me or something while I'm running. So the idea that this is almost like a money clip and it's real tight, I like that. It makes total sense to me, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay. Now, number 3 is we're going to take this guy and use it closed, right? And I think for a lot of people, They don't understand that. It's like, you're using a knife closed, then it's not a knife. And you're right, it's not a knife. At that point, it is a self-defense impact tool. You're using it closed, really for legal reasons, okay? And I think number one is, the moment you bring up the legality, people say, well, I'd rather be, troweled by 6 than buried 6 feet under, right? That is a common saying. And what this is telling you, by telling you, hey, use this thing closed, right? For legal reasons, because it's legally better for you to use this closed. That's saying that, hey, it is possible to protect yourself physically as well as legally. It's possible to do both. You don't have to go the extreme and say, I'm not going to worry about the legal stuff, but I'm going to protect myself physically. And that's all I'm going to do right now. And forget the legal part. I'll worry about that later and abandon that. No, this is telling you, you don't have to do that. That it is possible to do both successfully. So that's refreshing. If you think about it, that's refreshing to me. That's nice to know that that is totally possible. And that's what this knife is about. Okay. The other thing is, people might be like, well, if you take it out, even if you have the intention to use it closed, the moment you take this out, you've made it into a lethal force situation because it's a knife. You take that out, I'm going to shoot you because you just took out a knife, right? And that is the wrong way of thinking, in my opinion, because why? Because in real life, in a real life situation, there's been many times, many cases where a person gets into a fight and then they leave the fight and they're like, man, that club was rough, man. Let's get out of here. Oh, I don't know what was wrong with those guys. Oh, wait a minute. I don't feel too good. I'm dripping. What is that liquid? Oh, it's my blood. I've been stabbed. I've been cut. Like, you don't even know that you were cut and stabbed. A lot of situations end up that way. Meaning, I'm not even talking about closed, okay? I'm talking about an open knife like this. Or maybe it was a fixed blade, but it's a full knife and the other person still did not see it. Like, people didn't even realize that. Okay, so it's that difficult to see because it's all happening so quickly. Now, let me clarify. There are situations where you can flash your weapon. Okay, you can flash, you show it to them on purpose. You go, look at this. You mess with me, this is what's coming. Like, you deliberately show them, okay? So when you flash like that, obviously you want it to de-escalate the situation where they go, oh, I made a mistake. Sorry about that. Bye. So you want that to happen, right? You don't want it to, you flash this and they go, oh, okay, well, I'm going to take out my gun now. You don't want that because that's escalating the situation, right? So when you flash a weapon, it could go either way. And obviously there's a right time to do it and there's a wrong time to do it, right? But what we're talking about here is when you take this out and use it closed, we're not flashing this thing. Okay, so that's one to understand. When things are happening so quickly, they're probably not going to see this at all. And if they do see it, they go, is that pepper spray? You know, is that a flashlight? I don't know what that is in their hand. They're not going to know, okay, if they even see it at all. But that's the idea, okay? You're not flashing. You're not trying to intimidate. There's no intimidation. You're being attacked, so you're in the middle of it. And I'm being attacked, so boom, right here, okay? I want them to run into this, like so. So this is what we call a destruction in Filipino martial arts. So I'm shielding myself, and then a little spike right here for them to run into, okay? That's all I'm doing. So it's completely defensive. It's not like I'm going and I'm aggressively trying to hit them with here or here, a hammer fist like that, that's not what I'm doing here. I'm protecting myself. And there's other times where they might be repeatedly swinging combos at me, and I'm just trying to get it away. Okay, I'm trying to swat it down like a pesky fly that's coming at me, and you're swatting it down. That's what I'm doing, but using this. Boom, 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 just swatting and creating space. You know, maybe I'm using this to push them, to create the space to get out of there and to get them off of me. So it's 100% defense. Why? Why is it defense instead of offense? Because if I attack them like this, right? Well, and I just said, they may not even see that I have this, right? I'm doing this. They're the ones that attack me first. That's what they want. I am trading shots with this person. So they're probably attacking me barehanded or with a weapon. And I do this back. We're just going to exchange blows. And that is not what I want. That doesn't accomplish anything. I'm not here to see who's the better fighter, you know, who has better moves, who has better reflexes. I'm not here to test any of that out. I'm just wanting to survive and get out of here. I want to escape. So me attacking them creates opportunities for them to attack me too. I'm opening myself up by attacking them. I'm putting the fact that I'm able to attack them, I'm also in their range too, range of attack. So it's a good range for me to hit them, then it's a good range for them to hit me back. So that's definitely what I don't want to do. And by doing this and trying to get them off and get away, I am not playing that game. And that's super, super important there. Okay. And also legally, it'll cover me. But it really comes down to, what is it you're trying to do? Are you trying to dominate them? Are you trying to beat them? Are you trying to defeat them? And the answer is no. I'm just trying to survive, protect, and get away. So that has to be very, very clear. Now, I know that sounds wimpy and everything, but that's the main idea, is to survive. Okay. I have nothing to prove. So then you might be going, well, you know, this thing, if you're using it closed, you're doing all this stuff like this, well, do you really need this thing? You know, you can do that empty-handed, right? And the answer is, yeah, I could do it empty-handed for sure, because it's the same stuff. It's the same Filipino martial arts techniques that I'm doing, but now with this instead of empty hands. But it really comes down to, and a perfect example I could share with you guys is, let's get a big chunk of ice, okay, maybe like the size of a human head, right? And now break that ice to bits with your hand, or use this. And obviously, this is going to be much, much better. Why? For two reasons. A, it's going to get the job done much better, because, you know, this has areas that could really break down something like that. And then number two, protects my hands. More important than anything, it protects me. I don't hurt my hand. I trying to break a chunk of ice with my bare hands, rough, very rough, right? So it only makes sense to use this because it's just better than empty hands. So I'm not even talking about the blade. I'm just talking about this, like this. Imagine that this thing doesn't even open, right? And there's no blade to it. Just like this, just something like this. It's better, period. It's better to use that. So that's what I'm doing. You know, another situation is people think about, like, if you take this thing out, right? And let's say, you know, with the blade, that's lethal force, right? So if a blade is long enough, it is capable of lethal force. So let's say I'm in a situation where lethal force is involved, right? And you might think, well, then don't you want the knife out as fast as you can? And the answer is not necessarily, okay? Because the most important thing is my own safety. And there's been so many times where in a conflict and altercation, the knife user, so the person with the knife, ends up stabbing and cutting themselves with their own knife. And all you got to do is talk to police officers, and they will tell you, yes, that can happen. And that has happened, right? So having it closed is much safer, yes, for the opponent, but also more importantly for you. It's safer for you, right? And the other thing to realize about this is a misconception. Let's say the other guy has a knife and I have this, okay? And I'm using mine closed and they have a knife, right? Remember, this is not a duel. I was already attacked or whatever. I'm in the middle of this now all of a sudden. So it's not like, gentlemen, take out your knives, ready, go, and then we start fighting. That's not what's happening here. So yeah, I could definitely be a step behind in that sense, right? But I have it closed. Their knife is fully open, right? That situation is, they have lethal force, I don't. I'm non-lethal, right? So it's a lethal force versus non-lethal. And this is the thing. A lot of people think that for a lethal force situation, you absolutely need a lethal force weapon. If you bring in a non-lethal weapon into that situation, that you're going to lose. That their lethal weapon is superior to your non-lethal weapon, and I will lose without a doubt. That's what a lot of people think, okay? And you have to consider this, okay? This is kind of the same idea with bare knuckle. So in a bare knuckle fight situation, right, which was like the early UFCs, those guys were fighting bare knuckle. And you can't, I think at some point you couldn't even have wraps on there. The knuckles had to be exposed. And so if you punch someone, you could break your hand. Well, guess what? One of the first fighters to wear a glove protecting the hand was Tank Abbott. And what that allowed him to do was to punch the other person full force without worrying about hurting his hand. And in that situation, as you can imagine, he was a heavy hitter and he was actually more dangerous with the gloves on. So without the gloves, he could have hurt his hand and that's it. But with the gloves on, now the guy could go to town on you for as much as he can, for as much as he wants. So it's that much scarier. So in a sense, with a full-blown knife, I gotta protect me from my own blade, and I also have to be careful that I don't accidentally do something I'm gonna regret. I don't want to kill the person. That shouldn't be my goal. You know, I don't want to cause as much damage as possible and cripple them for life or something. That's once again, has nothing to do with my goal. My goal is survival, right? So if I actually use it closed, even though it might be a lethal force situation, even though this person may have made it clear that they're going to kill me, if I'm able to take care of it like this, maybe this way I could go full force and not have to worry that I'm going to do lethal force on the person, okay? And I've also seen it with knives, with actual knives, where the blade is on the shorter side. And, you know, the handle was big, but the blade is short, and people were like, that seems stupid. Actually, it's brilliant. It goes along the same idea to me, you know, where now with a shorter blade, I don't have to worry about puncturing organs. I don't have to worry about accidentally murdering this person, but I could protect myself wholeheartedly. And that was the idea. And that makes total sense to me. So all I'm saying right now is that just because it is a lethal force situation, or it turns into lethal force, it doesn't mean that if you have a non-lethal weapon that it's useless or it's not going to be effective. That is not true. It could still be totally effective. And in some cases, it might even be more effective. Okay, but I'm just want to bring that idea to surface, because I think so many people have never heard of this, or they've never thought of this either. You know, so I just want to share that with you guys. So then the next thing is, you're using this closed, as best as you can, as much as you can, and it's still not working out for you, right? Now you might make the decision, I need to go lethal force. I need something more powerful. And then it's already in your hands, and as you guys know, you hook the ramp and boom, there it is, right? The blade comes out instantly. So that's why that's there. And you might go, well, okay, that's all great and everything, but when? You just said earlier that it's very chaotic. How am I supposed to know when that is the right time? And that's easy. It's actually easy. Trying to create distance. That should be your goal, is to always try to get out and run away. He who lives to run away lives to fight another day. That's 100% what you're trying to do, is get out of there, okay? But you might get cornered because the bad guy's not stupid. They know you're trying to get away, so they might corner you, okay? They're stopping you from doing that. And there's times where you just cannot run away. Or there's other times where if you ran away now, you're almost guaranteed to give them your back, and you're going to be in a worse situation, you know? So I'm just saying there's times where you just cannot run away. So at those kinds of situations, right, when you cannot run away, then we're going to have to bring this out, right? And in those kinds of situations, you're close with the enemy because they're coming in to do harm to you. It's very difficult for them to do harm to you from far away unless they have firearms. They have to come in close. So when they come in close, right, that's when you could hook them with this to deploy it, and that's when you can use this. So it makes sense in that. So from far away, I'm not trying to hook and trying to get this out, or I'm not trying to get the blade out from far away. Just use it closed, okay? But once they're in, like we're in the clinch, okay, something like that, then I could hook this off their shoulder, from their pants, you know, from their arm, and then get this thing out. And then from there, I'm not trying to, once again, the goal is not to murder them. I'm not trying to kill them. I'm just trying to get them off of me, right? Trying to get them off of me. So in that situation, I need to get their hands off of me. Or they might even have a weapon. So I want them to drop the weapon. So either way, I'm going to be attacking what? Their hands. Okay, as much as I can, the hands, the arms. This is what I'm going for. And that goes with the whole traditional Filipino martial arts of defang the snake, where you're attacking the attack. The thing that's grabbing your throat. The thing that's pushing you up against the wall. You know, the thing that's caught you. It's their arm. And that's what I'm trying to neutralize. Or the thing that's holding the weapon. It's their arm. So I'm attacking the arm. And if you attack the arm, then once again in court, you're going to be in a much, much better situation because why did you attack the arm? Well, because that arm was doing harm to me. I was just trying to get it off of me. So that's why I cut him in the arm, right? But if you attack, cut him in the neck, you know, the eye, where you might even get to the brain, who knows, right? Go through the skull or something with a really powerful stab, or puncture the heart or some other organ. You do something like that, it's going to be very difficult for you to survive that court. You're not going to win that situation. You're putting yourself in huge amounts of trouble. So why do it? Why do it? You know. So I hope this kind of sheds some light into the actual usage of not only this knife, but also the system that this knife was predicated upon, based upon, you know, by Professor Bram Frank, who is, you know, a Filipino martial arts guy. I mean, he's cross-trained in other styles, but that's his main thing, is Filipino martial arts. And you can see that all the principles, they're in there. They're in here. And it's designed to be used in that fashion. So the people that look at this and go, oh, that's for wave, you know, they're missing it because, you know, you do the wave and then you're throwing punches, you know, and going for the eyes and stuff. That is a completely different style, completely different method of fighting. You know, it's totally different. So in order to understand this knife, you have to understand the Filipino martial arts in essence. So I hope that helps. That's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.